wrote a book about Judy Garland, Always for Judy. And through the years, I've met other Judy friends, and they've told me their stories, and their stories are in my book. And I'd like to introduce you to Jack Wood. Jack Wood and I met at one of Jan Glazier's family get-togethers called Hollywood 2010. But it seems as if I've known you forever. And we both live in Northern California, but not that near to each other, so we would meet up in San Francisco. And what do two Judy people do when they meet? They reminisce and they think about the times that they met her. And I've got 4 stories, and I'd like you... Well, when did you first discover Judy? How old were you?
Thank you, John. It's a treat to chat. I was living in Sacramento, California, where I was born, and I was 7 years old. And I had an Auntie Mame type person. She wasn't really an aunt, but she was very sophisticated and lived in downtown Sacramento with big hats and gloves and all that. And she used to take me to the movies. And I remember sitting next to her, maybe even on her lap, in Sacramento, watching Meet Me in St. Louis. It wasn't the music necessarily. I love the whole film, but it was that connection with that woman.
Yeah.
7 years old.
I was 7
It was a
too.
gut.
Mine was Strike Up the Band. And there's a particular number in there when she's in the library talking about how her love's gone, you know, there's nobody for her. That was my connection from, I think...
7 years old?
7 years old, must be something about 7 years old.
7 years old, yeah. We got an early start.
Yeah, so we followed her.
Because for me, Wizard of Oz came later, but it was, I'll never forget it. Meet Me in St. Louis.
I never cared about Wizard.
Really? Well, they used to reissue.
Yeah, right. I like the teenage girl, because I was looking up to a girl of 14 or 15 that was having a marvelous life in Hollywood, and my life wasn't very glamorous in England. But anyway, you saw her, the first time you saw her, about 1957, was it? Or
No.
59?
Yeah, she did the tour in the U.S. of the Opera House.
Opera House tour.
The Lyric in Chicago, the Metropolitan, and all in Houston, I think. But she came to the San Francisco Opera House. Right. And that was in 1959.
59. Okay.
And that's when I first saw her. And I remember my 2 or 3 college buddies from Sacramento, I coerced into going to this, and they wanted not the expensive seats. I had never been in the Opera House before. We took the elevator to the 5th floor, which horrified me.
Right.
And staring straight down on that, I used to do the rake audience configuration. But when that woman came out, a little pin spot, and she had the orchestra. She did the vaudeville show. When she opened her mouth, I'll never forget it. And I can't remember back in those days if it was even mic'd or not. It was an opera house, but she just filled that room cavernously. It was unbelievable. She was bloated beyond recognition, very white, overly made up, I thought, but she had great legs always. But when she sang All Was Forgiven, it was extraordinary. And that was my first time. And the one thing I don't have, and I can't find it anymore, to show you how special it was in San Francisco even then, the San Francisco Chronicle did a special, it really wasn't a special edition as I recall, it was just a regular edition of the Chronicle, but they put a whole overleaf, the whole front page, this big, a black and white picture of Judy, and all it said in blazing headlines, I wished I could find it, Judy sings. That's all. And they were handing them out as you went in. That was my first time.
Very emotional, isn't it?
Extraordinary. Yeah. And then I learned afterwards she had hepatitis. I knew she wasn't well, but she was in very good voice. Loved it. So that was my introduction live to Judy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the story's in here.
Yeah. It was unforgettable.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Marked me for life.
Yeah.
Scarred me for life.
Okay, thanks.